In the fast-paced world of the NBA, many different experimental lineups are oftentimes tried out, and one of those types of lineups is when essentially playing 2 point guards on the same roster at the same time. Now, this can mean chaos for defenses and incredibly creative offenses. It's a risky way to build a roster, but the theory is solid. You have more high-level decision makers on the floor. That should equate to greater playmaking, greater movement of the ball, and thus better offenses. An example of this was when Hardaway and Jason Kidd were paired up in 1999 for the Phoenix Suns. This was coined backcourt 2000, and they had actually good regular season records during this time. Jason Kidd and Hardaway paired up on the same team, two of the better transition players on the point guard position, both running the floor together. The wizardry that was Kidd and the high-flying Penny created what was more exciting backcourts that left defenses scramble to try to beat them. However, their time together was brief and injury-ridden. Penny Hardaway's career would take a downturn with many injuries that failed him after leaving Orlando. They managed to crack great records even without Penny playing most of their seasons. Unfortunately, due to those injuries, this team was never able to take off and reach its full potential. Another example that is similar to that previous example actually happened to be Trae Young and Dejounte Murray. And the Atlanta Hawks bet big on Trae Young and Dejounte in 2022. Trae's wizardry on his side of the offensive end and Dejounte's two-way versatility was meant to counteract the flaws that come with Trae Young's game. Ultimately, it didn't work out. Murray wasn't quite at the same level defensively on the Hawks as he was on the Spurs, and Trae never really developed that off-ball game that people thought he could. Even when Quinn Snyder took over as head coach, he couldn't quite make the Young and Murray pairing work, and eventually they broke it off with subpar records, 41-41 in the first season together, and 36-46 in their second. Steph and Monte shared the backcourt as a precursor to what would be the Splash Brothers, and before Steph was the face of the Warriors dynasty, actually he was second fiddle to Monte Ellis. They both brought a scoring punch, but their skill sets overall just overlapped too much, and defensively the pairing, it made the pairing ultimately short-lived. It was a precursor to the Warriors' evolution, and the pairing with Steph Curry with prototypical sniper and sharpshooter that is Klay Thompson overall ended up better as they played a more traditional backcourt as opposed to this hodgepodge of two guards who kind of do the same thing on the floor. Luka and Kyrie in Dallas is one of the more impressive and successful examples of double point guards. They represent two dual playmakers, elite ball handlers, and shot creators, and they've actually managed incredible success with their time together. Despite a rocky start in the first season after the midseason trade, the very next year they won 50 games and led the Mavericks to the NBA Finals in 2024, just falling short against the Boston Celtics. They're still together and they might actually pull something this year. It remains to be seen. But this is one of the more successful examples of 2-point guards actually managing to make it work out. And if you need one more example of 2-point guards making it work and playing well together, Norm Nixon and Magic Johnson, way back in the 1980s. This is the most successful by far of an example. Now, Norm Nixon isn't quite the superstar, or even the number two, much like the rest of these guys, but Norm Nixon was an all-star level player on the Lakers. And this was a time when Magic wasn't quite set in stone, wasn't quite the point guard. Rookie season, for example, wasn't quite sure what he was, but they won championships together. They played really good basketball. I think Magic even won an MVP too. But eventually, Norm Nixon was shipped off to the LA Clippers. Duo was disbanded. Despite that, they had a lot of success, the most success of any roster of this kind as a backcourt. Their honorable mentions are CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard. I didn't like to include this because CJ McCollum isn't really a point guard. He's a shooting guard. Van Vliet and Lowry are an example, but they never really started together. Andre Millard and Ty Lawson. CP3 and Harden. Once again, Harden's a dual guard, but he isn't really a point guard, so he doesn't count. Same with Buss and Harden. And another honorable mention is Dragic and Bledsoe and Thomas were all on the same roster at one point.